3 months ago, I sat in my car at 3 a.m., crying in a McDonald's parking lot. Not because something terrible happened, but because nothing did. I had just relapsed again for the 47th time that year. And this time, I didn't even want to. My hand just moved, like I was watching someone else control my body. That's when it hit me. I wasn't choosing this anymore. It was choosing me. Here's what nobody tells you about lust. It's not about willpower. It's not about being weak or strong. It's about a war happening inside your brain that you don't even know you're fighting. Every time you relapse, you're not losing because you're pathetic. You're losing because your brain has been rewired to crave something that's slowly destroying you. And the worst part? You think it's just you. You think you're the only one stuck in this cycle. You're not. That night in the parking lot, I made a promise. Not to God, not to anyone else, to the version of myself I used to be. The kid who had dreams bigger than his bedroom screen. I gave myself 30 days, just 30 days to try something different. And what I discovered in those 30 days didn't just change my habits, it changed who I was. Day one felt like withdrawal, because it was. I deleted everything. Instagram, TikTok, the private browser I thought no one knew about. My phone felt naked, and my brain, it was screaming. But here's what they don't tell you. The first 72 hours aren't the hardest because of the urges. They're the hardest because you realize how addicted you were to distraction itself. I couldn't sit in silence for 5 minutes without reaching for my phone, even when there was nothing to check. That's when I knew. This wasn't about lust. This was about dopamine slavery. Day 4. I was doing okay. Actually felt a little proud. Then my ex texted me. Just a hey, with 3 dots that lasted forever. My brain didn't even think. It just flooded me with memories, with images, with that familiar pull. I stood in my bathroom, cold water running over my hands, trying to breathe. And that's when I did something different. I grabbed a notebook and wrote down every single trigger in my life. Not just the obvious ones, the subtle ones. The room where it happened most, the time of day, the emotion I was feeling right before. Here's what I found. 80% of my relapses happened when I was bored or anxious, not horny, bored. My brain had learned to use lust as a painkiller for emptiness. So I burned the bridges, changed my room layout, started sleeping with my phone in another room. I made it so hard to relapse that I'd have to consciously choose it, not just drift into it. But the real enemy wasn't my environment. It was my identity. Day 9, I was at the gym, actually following through on something for once, and this thought crept in. You're just going to fail anyway. You always do. That voice, that cruel, familiar voice. I realized something terrifying. I had spent so many years calling myself weak, undisciplined, broken, that I started to believe it. And your brain will always find evidence for what you believe about yourself. So I did something that felt insane at the time. I started lying to myself on purpose. Every morning, I looked in the mirror and said, I'm someone who keeps promises to myself. It felt fake, like I was pretending to be someone I wasn't. But here's the secret. All identity is pretend at first. You fake it until the actions make it real. Day 12. I felt an urge, strong one. But this time, instead of, I'm trying not to relapse, I thought, that's not who I am anymore. And the urge, it just sat there, like a wave that couldn't crash. Day 17. I relapsed. Sort of. I was stressed, tired, and I let my guard down for just a second. But here's the difference. I caught myself mid-action and I stopped. Old me would have said, well, I already messed up, might as well finish. New me said, this isn't a relapse, this is a redirect. I did 50 push-ups right there, until my arms were shaking, until the only thing I could think about was breathing. That's when I understood the real game. Lust isn't the problem, it's a symptom. The real problem? Trapped energy with nowhere to go. Your body creates testosterone. It builds energy. And if you don't give it a purpose,
it will find one. So I gave it a war to fight. I started training like my life depended on it. Boxing, running, cold showers that made me want to cry. And something strange happened. The urges didn't disappear. They transformed into drive, into hunger, into something that pushed me forward instead of pulling me down. But the final step, that's the one that saved me. Day 23, Sunday afternoon, nothing to do. That's when relapses happen. Not in moments of weakness, in moments of emptiness. So I built a boredom protocol, a literal list of 10 things I could do the second I felt that dangerous, nothing to do feeling. Read for 20 minutes, call a friend, go for a walk, work on my side project. Sounds simple, almost too simple, but here's the truth. Most battles are lost not because the enemy was strong, but because we weren't ready. Day 30 came. I woke up expecting to feel different, superhuman, transformed. I felt normal. And that's when it hit me. That was the transformation. I didn't need to feel like a god. I just needed to feel like myself again. The version of me that could sit with discomfort, that could be bored without needing an escape, that could look in the mirror and not feel shame. But here's the twist nobody talks about. Killing lust forever? That's not the goal, because lust isn't the enemy. The enemy is the belief that you're powerless. I still feel urges, even now, probably always will, but now they don't control me. They're just weather, passing clouds, and I've learned to let them pass. 3 months later, I ran into an old friend, someone who knew the old me. He said, "Bro, what happened to you? You seem different." I didn't tell him about the 30 days or the system or any of it. I just smiled and said, I kept a promise to myself. Because that's what this really is. Not about lust, not about discipline. It's about proving to yourself that you're not a liar. So, here's my challenge to you. Not forever, not even 90 days, just 7 days. 7 days of doing everything I just told you. The detox, the environment change, the identity shift, the energy transfer, the boredom protocol. And if after 7 days you feel nothing, go back to your old life. But I promise you, you won't want to. Because once you feel what it's like to be in control, you can't unsee it. You can't go back to being the person who breaks promises to themselves every night. That version of you, they're dead. And the version reading this right now, they're just being born. So decide, right now, in this moment, are you ready to stop being a victim of your own mind? Comment, "I'm ready," if you're taking the challenge. And if you made it this far, you already know what to do. Like this video, subscribe, and let's build the version of you that you've been hiding from. Your future is waiting. Stop making it wait any longer.